Hello students, today we will do Act 2, Scene 1. This scene takes place in Macbeth's castle, and the characters present over here in the beginning are Banquo and Fleance and some of the servants who are present there. Now we see that the scene is starting where Banquo and Fleance, they are having a very casual talk about how the night is and whether the night is dark. Fleance, his son, reports that the night is quite dark, the moon has set quite early, but he doesn't know the exact time. And then Banco says that, and she goes down at 12. Over here, she goes down at 12 means she over here is the moon, and this is the literary device used here is personification, where the moon has been personified. And Fleance answers that he thinks that it may be a bit later. The time he's not sure, but he thinks it is later than 12. Now, Banco asks Fleance to take his sword, hold it, and he further says that he thinks that there is husbandry in heaven, means the gods are being economical. Since the night is very dark, the stars are not shining. So he says that the gods are being economical as to not let the stars shine. Okay, stars are the lights of the heaven. So the gods are being economical for not letting the stars shine and saving the light. And then he says that the candles are all out, that is, the stars are not shining. The candles means the stars. And then he again asks Banco to hold his sword. Take thee that too. This is an example of alliteration where the first letter T has been repeated. And he further says that it seems that the night is very dark and there is something eerie bad about the night. Okay, and he is not being able to sleep. There is discomfort, and he praises the God, or he prays to God that may God give him sound sleep so that he doesn't get the cursed thoughts, that is, the nightmares that are bothering him and not letting him sleep. Then, while they are having a talk, we see that Macbeth enters with some of the servants. Macbeth, obviously, they are busy in their conversation, so automatically Banquo asks that who's there, who's come. Macbeth says that he's a friend who has come to meet. Banquo is even worried or curious to know that why Macbeth is also not asleep. And he inquires about the king, King Duncan, who has come to visit Macbeth's castle, whether he has gone to sleep. Because Duncan was immensely happy with the proceedings of the day and the way Macbeth and Lady Macbeth have welcomed him in their castle at Inverness. And Banquo also tells Macbeth that he has been so happy that he has sent gifts and a big diamond, okay, to Lady Macbeth as a way to thank her for the hospitality she has shown. And this is the way King Duncan has expressed his satisfaction for her hospitality. And he gives the diamond to Macbeth, to give it to Lady Macbeth. And he further said that he has addressed Lady Macbeth as the most kind hostess. This is ironical because Duncan does not know that the hostess whom he is calling kind has planned the murder, has planned his murder. Okay, and has therefore given her a diamond for her hospitality. Then Macbeth tells Banquo that since they were not prepared for this visit, it was very sudden, they were not able to, provide a very lavish welcome. If they had time, they would have done better. They would have welcomed him in a better manner. Banquo assures him, saying that everything has gone very well and everyone is very satisfied. Then he asks Macbeth that whether Macbeth has dreamt of the weird sisters of lately, who have shown him some truth. Here we see, with the way Macbeth replies, it shows Macbeth is very pretentious. He replies that he does not think of them. He has taken the witches very casually and he is not bothered to remember them. But this is completely wrong, as we readers already know the plan of action on the basis of the weird sisters that Macbeth and Lady Macbeth have planned. But he tells Banquo that he doesn't think of these weird sisters because he had no time to do so. And he tells him that if Banquo wants to discuss about the weird sisters, they would soon find time and discuss. Banquo is obviously happy with Macbeth's answer, and he tells him that it will be whenever it is convenient for Macbeth, they would do so. And Macbeth also tries to give advice to Banquo, saying that if Banquo follows his advice, Macbeth's advice, then there will be great opportunities for Banquo. Banquo, in reply, as usual, says that he is ready to follow Macbeth's advice, provided he does not lose his honor in trying to follow Macbeth's advice. So he's quite aware that what Macbeth is coming up with. He's unaware what Macbeth is coming up with. And then Macbeth takes his leave, asking Banquo to sleep well, take care, and both Banquo, Fleance, along with the servants, they exit. Then there's a speech about Macbeth or of Macbeth, where it is a soliloquy. This speech is a very famous one. It is called the dagger speech. Once a servant leaves, he orders a servant to tell Lady Macbeth that when his drink is ready, she may call him. And the servant leaves. Now Macbeth is all alone on the stage and he's just talking to himself, which is a soliloquy. Through this, the audience is going to come to know his state of mind. Okay, and this speech is called the dagger speech. It is a dagger speech because over here he is going to see a hallucinatory dagger in front of him. It is not an actual dagger. It is actually the guilt, the remorse that he sees in front of, that makes him see this dagger in front of him. Okay, so I'll just read the speech to you so it becomes clearer to you. Now see, is this a dagger which I see before me? Because this is an hallucinatory dagger. He thinks that is really there a dagger in front of me? And the handle is towards him. So he wants to hold it, clutch it. Okay, come let me clutch thee. He wants to hold it. So he's telling the dagger, come let me take you. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. So naturally he's not being able to hold the dagger because it's an imaginary dagger. And then he's saying that I cannot hold you, but I can still see you. How is that possible? So then he confirms that you are a fatal vision. You are not there. You are an hallucinatory one. You are not. It is just a feeling. It is a imagination. It is a dagger of the mind. Okay, and it is the dagger of the feverish brain. It is his imagination. So we come to know that Macbeth is a very imaginative person. Okay, and which makes him see this dagger in front of him. And then I see thee yet, he's still seeing the dagger, okay, as real and as tangible, as palpable, is as real as the real one. And now he takes out his own dagger and compares his real dagger to the imaginary one. And then he asks the dagger to guide him in his path, the path that is going to take him to Duncan, that is to commit the murder. And then so that he can follow the instructions given by the dagger. And then he says that this dagger is completely fooling his eyes. It is not a real dagger. Okay? And it is so real that he feels that it is as real as the real one. And he sees that the dagger, the imaginary dagger, also has blood on the handle and on the blade. So it is a bloody business. Bloody business again is an example of alliteration, which forms this, which gives this imagination to him. Thus to mine eyes, this is what is giving me. It is the crime, the murder which I have to commit. It is making me think of this dagger. Okay, and then he says that the whole world, half of the world or the whole world has gone off to sleep because it's the middle of night. Nature seems dead, means the people are sleeping. Sleep has been compared to death, because when you are sleeping, you're completely oblivious of your surrounding, just like when you are dead. And that's why the wicked dreams are the ones which come at wicked things, evil deeds, wicked thoughts all come up at night. Okay, that is the time for evil to show its face. And witches are the evil forces. They celebrate their offerings to their Hecate. Hecate is their queen. It is night time when the witches celebrate and give their offerings to their queen. And the murderer is alarmed, and the murderer or the evil person is alarmed by the wolf. So witch, wolf, all these are, you can see, very sinister, evil elements of darkness. Okay, and so he's saying that he wants to walk as stealthily as a Tarquin. Over here it is a allusion which he draws. So Tarquin was a murderer he was a Roman tyrant, okay, Tarquin, who at night he had come very stealthily and to rape his friend's wife. And that is, here Macbeth uses a comparison saying that he wants to walk as stealthily as the Tarquin to commit the murder. And he wants the blessings and wishes of the witches, the evil things, so that he may be successful. And he says that he wants to move towards his victim, that is, just like Tarquin moved towards his victim, he also wants to move towards his victim, who's Duncan, like a ghost, because like a ghost is a simile, because he doesn't want to make any noise and want to create any sensation around so that nobody sees him. We generally don't see ghosts. So he's now saying that yes, he is quite stable, he's made up his mind to commit the murder, and he's asking the knight to prepare the people or the sleeping people in such a way that they do not hear his steps, because he's going to move, the murderer is going to move, he's going to move towards his victim. And so that he says that further, because when he takes the step, the stones on the earth may make noise, so he doesn't want that noise to be heard. This is example of a personification. Thy very stones prate of my whereabout. So he's worried that his steps may, thy very stones, personification of earth, where he's saying that the stones on the earth may be making the noise and may awake Duncan, and he may not be successful in his deed. So now he's all alive, all already. So while I threat, he lives. So he is saying that while I am scared, he is still living. Duncan is still living. So the moment he gives his deed, fulfills his deed, then automatically Duncan is not going to live anymore, because he's going to commit the murder. Then a bell rings, and so he knows that it is a signal for him to go and commit the murder. Everything is ready. So he says, I go, and it is done. It is done means then the murder of Duncan is done. The bell invites me. Here the bell is personified as if a friend who is inviting him to do what? To commit the murder of Duncan. And he tells Duncan not to hear it. Hear it not, Duncan. He's asking Duncan not to hear it. Why? Because this bell is his death bell. Knell. Knell means a death bell. Means a death bell sounding, telling Duncan that you are going to die. So he asks Duncan not to hear it, because that bell can call him to either to hell or to heaven. So this is the end of the scene, where we see, it's a very short scene, where we see that in the beginning there's a brief discussion about the knight, which is a typical Shakespearean device to show that something evil is going to happen. So the night is very dark. Banquo is feeling very restless because he is dreaming of the weird system, and there's an uncanny feeling that something is going to go wrong. Then we see Macbeth, who has become absolutely sure that he's going to commit the crime, and it is this bloody business that is bothering him, making him see a hallucinatory dagger, very famous, the dagger scene or the dagger speech. And there are certain, as I said while I was teaching, there are certain poetic devices or other literary devices in this respect, which is, I'll just sum it up once more, that is, allusions have been used, like Hecate, who's the which is queen of the witches. Then you have the Tarquin, who's a Roman tyrant. Then there is simile, which has been used in line number 6 and line number 56. Then there's personification, used in line 62 and line 4 and 5 and 58 too. Then there is alliteration, line number 46, line number 50, and also line 5 and 4 are examples of alliteration. Then there is a metaphor used in line 50. And finally, there's a hyperbole also in line number 50. So I hope this scene, explanation of this scene is going to be helpful. And in my next video, I'm going to deal with Act 2, Scene 2. Thank you.